Hi there. So recently, India and Denmark had a green strategic partnership. The prime ministers of both India and Denmark met over a 3 day summit. It was the greenest summit ever. That's something that the ambassador had told us recently. But now, what does it really mean for India and the world? Joining me is the ambassador of Denmark to India. We really will be talking about what this could, like I said, mean for India, but also for the world. Now, we're both sitting in New Delhi, ambassador, and we've been, over the past couple of weeks, breathing in some real toxic air. Now, this sort of a partnership, could it also have an impact on, on just the circumstances that have been in New Delhi, in northern India, considering at least at this time of the year, there's a lot of pollution and which leads to a lot of allergies and so and so. I know I have one. So could you throw some light on that?
Namaste. Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm also trying to breathe fresh air. However, I must admit that I was also an ambassador here from 10 to 15, and I think I have seen improvements as to the air pollution. Not that it's better, not that it's less, but I think there are a lot of activities going around, and hopefully in a number of years you will see some improvements. You rightly mentioned the Green Strategic Partnership, which is a unique platform between Denmark and India. And the two honorable prime ministers on our side and your side, they agreed really to launch this Green Strategic Partnership. And it's based on 5 S's. And I think this is the recipe for a better, greener, more sustainable future. The 5 S's are scale of India. India is big in numbers, and challenges and opportunities are big. That goes without saying. Prime Minister Modi has many times and repeatedly stated that Denmark has skills, meaning that we have solutions. Then we have added speed because we need to take action. The air pollution, the energy consumption, the CO2 emissions, the COP26 action is of urgency. Then scope, what we are doing is not just for Denmark and India, it's beyond India and Denmark. So it's a kind of global approach. And finally, sustainability is so important. So whatever we are doing, we need to really to promote sustainability.
All right. And if I could ask you why each and every company should focus on becoming net carbon negative company. There's a lot of focus these days on being net zero. If for our viewers, if you could in the true sense explain what net zero is and how is this, how really can it be achieved?
Yes, thank you very much indeed. Let me jump a little bit back. In the beginning of the 1970s, Denmark was totally 100% wise dependent on fossil fuel, meaning oil, gas, and coal. And then suddenly oil, we could no longer get the oil from the Middle East. And then we had to reinvent ourselves. And then we decided really to develop the wind industry. And today wind is a multi-billion, double-digit euros or billion dollar industry. And that is clean energy. It doesn't really take any, or it does not really produce any CO2 emissions and so forth. Likewise, energy efficiency. Energy efficiency is one of the low-hanging fruits, or buildings are accounting at least for 40% of the global energy consumption. So we need to do something, but it will not come out of its own. We need the companies, the technologies to be put in place, and technologies have to develop strategies so their products or services are no longer emitting CO2 emissions and climate gases and so forth. So that's the way, and I'm pretty sure it can be achieved. It will not be easy, it will be extremely costly, but the day where we are not emitting CO2 emissions that will harm the climate, I think that is coming very, very close. So it means that you and I, if we can, we take electrical vehicle. We don't have ACs that are running on black energy or electricity. So it's to the situation where we do not use fossil fuel.
All right. Also, that brings me to my next question. Can insulation be energy efficient, and can it reduce the carbon dioxide emission?
Yes, it can. And once again, you have to look into the life cycle of these products. But let me say, energy efficiency is a low-hanging fruit. I mean, I come from the cold north in Europe, and it's very, very cold in the winter time. And then, of course, we are using a lot of heat. And in that context, we need to reduce the energy consumption. And insulation will be part of that. Technical insulation is also very important if you look into how refineries, fertilizer companies, plants are operating. So you can save a lot of energy. Basically, it's not just about expanding our, let's say, energy infrastructure. It's not about really producing more energy. It's about really reducing the energy intensity based on fossil fuel, but also to secure that we are looking for how we can save energy. That does not exclude that you and me and people across the world in India and Africa should not have access to electricity. Of course, they have to have that, but we can use a lot of technologies, and insulation is definitely one of them.
Yeah, so they say that save energy, save life. It's important to save energy, but in that context, how is selecting a proper insulation important, and also what really is the proper insulation?
Yeah, it depends on how you see it, but I mean, in our part of the world, we have had insulation as a requirement. It's stated in our building codes and so forth, because you cannot just spend and use your energy for free. It comes at some cost, and you also have a huge negative impact on the climate. So in that context, you will need some kind of insulation, and one way is stone wool, and we have very, very strong skills in Denmark. We have a company called Rock Wool. They're also operating here in India, and they're producing rock wool or stone wool based on basalt. Basalt is available everywhere. Of course, you need to put energy in the production because you're melting rocks and so forth. But in a lifespan of time, this is far better because the negative impact on climate will be reduced and turn into a positive impact because you will use less energy if you have isolated your plants, factories, and houses and so forth.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but as part of the Paris Agreement, India targets to produce 40% clean energy by 2030. How can Denmark really assist India in doing so?
I just mentioned, and you also mentioned kindly, the Green Strategic Partnership. And I believe, and we believe from Denmark's side, we believe that we have to secure that there's available access to finance, there's available access to technologies. And your Honorable Prime Minister has mentioned many times skills, meaning solutions. And we would like to secure that our companies who are and who have developed high-end technologies, that these technologies will be, let's say, introduced to India. Then it's for India, the Indian companies, Indian government to say, okay, we would like to have this technology, we believe in that technology. But we are not telling you that you should do X, Y set of things. We accept that you have to develop your own economy, you have to grow your economy, and it will have to grow, but please do it in a sustainable way. And that's why we are putting to your side the skills and the solutions and the technologies that we have. That's so important.
All right, but how can India-Denmark energy partnership that we're talking about really help?
But it can help in many ways. I mean, renewable, Denmark is perhaps the most advanced nation when it comes to renewables. I mentioned wind, and wind is catering for more than 50% of all electricity consumed, not produced. So a lot of our electricity comes from wind, and solar is coming too. biofuel is coming and so forth. So some of these technologies can be used in India. You have a lot of onshore, meaning on land, wind turbines, and that will generate electricity that can be used. That's a green energy source. Then, of course, energy efficiency. As I said, buildings globally are accounting for more than 40% of the global energy consumption. So it means that in a country like India with 1.4 soon inhabitants, you have a lot of houses, you have whatever, and you will also need to look into energy efficiency as a way forward. So there are many ways. So we tell you, the Indians, please, you can grow your economy, grow it sustainably, but also in a green way. Here are the skills, and we don't see any contradiction between development and more climate-friendly attitude. That will and should go hand in hand. That's what we have seen in Denmark. Since 1980, we have developed our economy to this double size, energy consumption stable, and the CO2 emissions level have gone down. So you can do it in parallel. And India has the scale. India also has the skills to do it in the same way. So we are just stretching out our green hand and say, let's have a green future. We'll support you. We will work with you.
Absolutely. And there is no doubt that Denmark has shown that while a country can grow economically, it can also remain sustainable. Thank you so much, Ambassador, for joining us, and for all our viewers. Of course, governments can do so much. We'll also have to take initiative. Like the Ambassador mentioned, we have the scale, but we should also have the will. Thank you so much for watching.
Namaste. Thank you.